All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live with episode 170 of the RGT podcast. Yo, this is a treat right here, man. It's funny. The podcast is called RGT. I just want y'all to know that. The podcast is called RGT. It's called Real Gamer Talk. And here's a guy here who literally has those same names and same letters in his name. Only he has an 805 attached to it as well, man. And that's our guest. We got the one and only RGT 805 here.
This 85.
Or 85.
I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't born in 1985.
But we got RGT 85 in the building. Welcome, my dude. Welcome. It's good to officially meet you or officially get you on the show. We met on Mooch's show. Shout out to Mooch at Crossfire. So it was good to finally get you on, man. I'm glad to have you.
Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Of course.
Man, RGT copyright this motherfucker facility. Damn, bro. That's some bullshit, bro.
That is hilarious. We got Blaze 4K. What's going on, brother?
I'm chill, bro. Honestly, I'm in my mood, but then I seen like his face. I'm like, bro, is that? I'm like, oh shit, that's a bro. I've been watching this fucking guy's fucking Nintendo Switch reviews and all that for a long time. Even like I think you made like wrestling content at one point. I watched, man. I've just been watching you for years, bro.
Yeah, I had a wrestling channel, but the problem with that was like, it became work, and I was like, I don't like the way this feels.
No, okay. So you want to have it more control, like you're in control type of thing, something that's on your time.
Yeah, because I mean, like video games, that's my work, that's my job, and then that's cool, that's taking a hobby and turning it into something more. But it was like I started like watching wrestling shows and I was doing reviews on them, and I'm sitting there like jotting down notes and shit, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right, it feels like work, and I don't want all of my hobbies to start to feel like work. So,
speaking of gaming and wrestling, Ukes, bro. They making that return, that triumphant return with AEW. We're gonna get into that though. We definitely get into that wrestling talk. I'm gonna say that for near the end. First of all, RGT, let me go ahead and ask you, what got you into YouTube? I gotta ask that real quick.
So I have a kind of a weird story with it. I started with video game stuff back in 2012. So next January is my 10 years in the industry or whatever, and I started writing for a website because I knew one of the guys who wrote for the website, and he was getting free video games, and I was like, I want free video games. He was like, can you write? I was like, we'll find out. So, I did one review. I remember the first game I reviewed was Shinobi on the 3DS, and they were like, okay, cool. You're pretty good. We'll have you on. So then they were like, well, what systems do you have? And I was like, well, I have a PS3, a 360, a 3DS. And they're like, well, are you getting a Wii U? And I was like, yeah, I probably will. And they're like, all right, so we're going to make you mostly the Nintendo guy on this website because you have a 3DS, nobody else has one, and you're getting a Wii U. So I was like, cool. So I started just writing with them, getting free games and stuff like that. It was very fun. But then everyone actually... The guy who owned that website is actually a big Twitch streamer by the name of DJ Knight. He does a lot of like promotional stuff with them. So he kind of moved on to the Twitch stuff. All the other people just sort of went into their own things. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, I want to continue this. Like, I'm having fun with it. So I sent out emails to a couple different websites, and a website called Nintendo Enthusiast actually emailed me back. And then I started working with them, and I started at the ground level, and I was like, I'm going to take this over one day. And then sure enough, I ended up becoming like the editor-in-chief of it because I was confident in my abilities. I wasn't really cocky. I was just like, I could bring something a little bit different to the table. They had a YouTube channel. They had, I think, 1,000 subscribers on it. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. And I was like, so I hit up the site owner. And I was like, I want to start making content on here because they just had like random videos on there. He was like, you ever made a video before? I was like, nah. I was like, I'll figure it out though. Don't worry. And he was like, okay. So right along that time, they hired someone else because the website's based out of Canada. They hired Jason Lapine, who has a channel, Hey Jay now. He does a lot of Monster Hunter and Dark Souls content. And he had ANC Games in Toronto, which is like a huge retro game store, as a backdrop. They let him film there. He had like a $3,000 camera. And then there's me with a 480p webcam and like a lamp in my room and Windows Movie Maker. And I was like, I'm going to make this work. So we were kind of right. I hated him at first, but we ended up becoming good friends. And then I started kind of wanting to do my own sort of thing back in like 2016, I think it was. Yeah. And so they were like, well, just make a side channel, because everyone who contributed on that channel ended up having a side channel where they just did whatever they wanted. So I made RGT 85 just because I wanted, because at that time it was actually originally called Retro Gaming Tube 85, because at that time there was a lot of retro news. There was the retro VGS that was coming out that was supposed to be, which ended up becoming the Coleco Chameleon. There was all these new retro inspired games. Retro was really hot right then, and I was like, well, you know, I'm in tune with this, let me get into it. And I remember I did a podcast on the channel with Rerez and Gilly the Kid, and they were like, you're gonna hate that name, it's too long, you can't do anything with it marketing wise. And I was like, no, it's fine. And then I realized, well, I don't want to just talk about retro shit. I want to talk about everything, you know, everything. Yeah. So then I shortened it to RGT 85, and, you know, slowly but surely the Nintendo stuff is what ended up catching heat. And a lot of people are always like, well, you just do Nintendo stuff for views or something like that. And it's like, no, if you knew anything about me, I've been doing this for nearly 10 years now, you know, focused on Nintendo stuff, because every website that I was a part of, that's what I did. So this just comes natural to me. It's like, I kind of talk, you know, because like I try to talk about PlayStation stuff and Xbox stuff on the channel. I usually sprinkle it in, but I look at it like a musician, you know, like a musician plays a certain style of music, but that doesn't mean that they don't love and do other styles of music.
They don't
it's
dab
just like
in other,
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, Kanye is not going to drop a death metal album, but he might like death metal or something like that. So it's like, you know, that's just how I look at it. Like, you know, this is what works. This is what does well. I try to sprinkle in as much as I can, you know, and I mean, that's just how it is. Obviously, there's a Nintendo focus, but all because that's what I primarily talk about, that doesn't mean I'm not playing my Xbox Series X. I'm not playing my PlayStation 5. I don't know what's going on with those. Like, I do know, because I have to know everything. So, yeah, in a long-winded way, that's how I got into YouTube.
Okay. And I got to ask you, you know, especially with you being with Nintendo this long, how you feel about the way they handled the Switch? You think it's better than expected, or is it...
I remember I was working. I still had a day job at the time when the Nintendo Switch was unveiled, and my day job was very cool. I was a certified pharmacy technician at a like a mom and pop pharmacy. We only had 2 pharmacies. I did the chain stuff forever, and I just got burnt out of it. And they were very cool. They were very supportive of what I wanted to do with this. So I was like, all right, I'm going to need the computer. I think the trailer happened at 11 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'm going to need the computer. Nintendo's dropping this new system information. I need the computer. I want to watch this, take some notes, and then, you know, whatever, I'll get back to work. And they're like, fine. So, wow. I watched that video, and I was so mad because I wanted the powerful Nintendo system.
Bro, before you go, RGT, bro, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to, like, dude, when I seen the Switch, I'm not going to I'll let you go. But I was hoping of a Super Nintendo traditional console as well. Go ahead.
Yes. Like that's what I like, or even the N64. I mean, the N64.
Yeah.
It was technically strong. I mean, that's why 3D platformers and first-person shooters ran so much better on the N64 than the PlayStation 1. And so I saw that, and I was just so disappointed. And like, I made a video on it. I was like, I don't like this, blah blah blah. But the more I saw it, the more I was like, okay, you know, maybe this is kind of cool. Maybe this makes sense, because actually with the Nintendo DS, I was the same way. I wanted something, you know, to supersede the Game Boy Advance. And then we got the DS, and I was like, oh, that looks like garbage. And I remember my buddy, we were in high school, or we had just graduated. No, we had just graduated high school. We were going to community college, and my buddy had this girlfriend who, like, he hated her, but she would buy him like whatever he wanted. So he stuck around with her, and she bought him a DS when it came out. And I was over at his house, and I was like, man, that's kind of cool, I guess. And he turned on the demo where Samus was, the Metroid Prime Hunters demo where Samus was like on the bottom screen, and then she stood up and her body stretched across the 2 screens. And I was like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing ever. I remember the next day I called around to like all the stores. I found one like 30 minutes away, and I just skipped class that day and drove and got one because I wanted it. And that's how it kind of grew on me. And now I like the Switch because I actually like the portability aspect. I do think they sort of half-assed some of it. I mean, obviously, like the online portion, I'll always complain about that. The power aspect, like, let's be realistic. It's using a Tegra X1 chip. You can do, NVIDIA can do tons of stuff with the Tegra chips. You can do so much more. The NVIDIA Shield TV is capable of DLSS. It's like, you know, why are you so frugal with it? But you know, when I'm sitting there and I'm watching a game on TV, you know, a Knicks game, and I'm sitting there and I'm playing, you know, NBA 2K, or I'm playing recently Dying Light, or I just got World War Z for the Switch today. It's like, you know, I like this. I like this because I can play this wherever I go. I can play it whenever I want. I don't have to have the TV set up. I do love playing console games on the TV, but I also love the handheld stuff. So it grew on me a lot, I think. But I mean, there's definitely still weaknesses. That's like the whole Switch OLED thing, the most bizarre system in the world.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we refined it. We have an Ethernet port and an OLED. I'm like, Nintendo, they just revealed a killer for $50 more. It's called a Steam Deck.
Yeah, like, and I still do have questions about the Steam Deck, though. I think it looks great. I'm very concerned about the battery, and I think that that button layout is absolutely atrocious on that thing.
I did say that, too, and a lot of people said it feels, they said it feels natural, though, when you get it. I don't know.
We'll see, though.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think it's going to be cool, and it's definitely a nice option, but Nintendo stuff tends to live and die on its first party software. And I mean, you look at a game like Animal Crossing, which I don't own because I Animal Crossed back in the GameCube and DS era, and I was like, okay, I've seen enough of this. But you know, that game sold over 30 million, which is unprecedented for a single SKU nowadays. So, you know, they know what they're doing. You would like to see them do more. You would like to see them sort of have that edge like they had back in the, you know, N64, the Game Boy era. Yeah, but you know, hopefully it'll come with time. You know, obviously you have to keep up with the Joneses and some sort of standard when it comes to things like visuals, or else, you know, these third-party games are never going to come to your system. But then you also have this cloud stuff that's starting to gain steam, which I don't like it.
I don't like that neither. Yeah, that's kind of like it exposes how far back it is.
Yeah,
it
like,
really does. Yeah.
I got Hitman 3, the cloud version, because I wanted to review it on the Switch, and I'm sure people are thinking, oh, why didn't you buy it on the Xbox or the PlayStation? Because if I buy it on the Switch, I'll make more money on the video than I would if I bought it on the PlayStation or Xbox. Looking at it from a business perspective. Yeah. But I bought that game because it's a slower game, and I figured if anything would feel decent with the cloud, this would be the style of game. And I mean, it was all right, but there was still that input lag and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, my internet's good. So I can't imagine like Dying Light 2 is getting a cloud version on the Switch. I can't imagine playing a game like that requires so much precision in terms of the parkour and, you know, killing the enemies and staying away. Like, I don't know. I'll check out the demo for it, but I don't like the cloud stuff, mainly because, you know, the infrastructure isn't quite there. The only exception to it that does really good cloud. I mean, the xCloud stuff is pretty good, but like Stadia is probably the best performing cloud service, and nobody cares about it. It's
that is true.
People just want that, you know, that classic gaming experience. Maybe,
bro, look behind you, bro. That's why you don't like the cloud shit. Look behind you. Just look behind you, bro.
There's one over there.
Hardware, bro. Like, come on, man.
Do they? God, it's ridiculous how far that is. How
you feel about the Switch? But real quick about the Switch. I own the what do you call the portable? The Lite. I'm looking at it. The Lite and the, you know, in the original launch Switch, which is worth you know, a lot of money right now because, you know, you can emulate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do some special things with that.
Right. So my thing is, like, I'm watching this Nintendo Direct, you know, and like we're in Discord watching it, and it's just like, I'm seeing Bayonetta 3 finally. I'm like, God damn it, just with a little more juice, what they can do, just, you know, it's just frustrating, bro. I want a little more juice. Dude, I realized, like, Mario Party's out today. It's ready. I paid it off. I didn't even go pick it up, but I just remembered, oh, shit, Mario Party's out today. Online, let's do it. But it's just, man, I want a little more juice, bro. The OLED shit is cool because I have a Vita and I understand an OLED. It does improve. You know, it does look better. But
yeah,
man, I was hoping for some. You know, just a little bit, man. God damn, Nintendo's so stuck in their ways. But guess what? Animal Crossing, like games sell like hotcakes on their system, and it's never gonna change.
It's counterproductive.
It's a double-edged sword, is what it is. They make their hardware like as cheap as possible, and then the software utilizes the hardware, you know, mostly good. Although, I mean, there have been like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. That game did not run good. And it's like, well, Nintendo only assisted with half of it. It was Koei Tecmo. It's like, come on. Like, the original Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on the Switch was better than the Wii U version and the 3DS version because it had all of the content that they added into the 3DS version.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, it ran at 60 frames per second the entire time. It's like, okay, this feels great. And then to go from that to Age of Calamity, it's like, oh, come on, man. Like, you know, you got to, at some point, they have to do something. And I really think... So the train of thought is that, and there's stuff I know, but I can't really say.
Right,
plus,
yeah.
I kind of have questions about what I know, although these sources are usually pretty good. The whole theory is that originally this system that came out was supposed to be the upgraded Switch with the artificial intelligence scaling and up to 4K, blah, blah, blah. But because of COVID and all that stuff, they held off on the idea and then released the OLED instead, just as it was. So this new Switch was supposed to have like the OLED screen plus the stuff for the docking capabilities. It kind of makes sense when you think about it because the dock can receive firmware updates, whereas the standard Nintendo Switch cannot. Plus, the whole development kit thing, I've heard that there are companies that do have 4K development kits. I'm still on the fence about whether or not I believe that, but like I said, these sources have told me bizarre things before, and then they ended up coming true, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So people are thinking that maybe they're going to go sort of like, you know, almost a cell phone route and keep the Nintendo Switch as a system and not release a successor quite yet, but release that PlayStation 4 Pro sort of situation. And then that way, because they want this system to last 10 years. It's coming up on the halfway point. This upcoming March will be 5 years. There's no way in hell that this system hardware-wise is going to last another 5 years. It would either need a successor or it would need an upgrade. And I think if they upgrade it, because when you think about it, you can mix and match stuff with this system. You can take your standard Nintendo Switch and use it in that new Nintendo Switch dock. So maybe you could do something along those parts. They could even go the route of where they go with like a cell phone thing where they just have refreshes, where it might not be the biggest deal for some people, but then some people would want something like that. And then you could start selling the system without a dock. So if you bought the Switch OLED, hey, here's this new Switch model that you could put in. You don't have to worry about buying a dock or anything like that. We'll sell it a la carte. So there's a lot of different ways that they can go. I just think that really, I feel like they should have waited.
Yeah, the worst time to release an OLED when you know there's a beast coming out in December and everybody's gonna look at that OLED like, whoa.
Well, I mean, but then you have the fact that the OLED is selling out. Like
that's what I'm saying.
That's the wild part. Yeah, it's wild.
Because I still haven't even gotten one yet. I had a lot of. I was gonna get one.
That's crazy.
I had it pre-ordered at Walmart. Walmart was unable to give me any sort of update of when it was going to come. They finally gave me an update that it would come a week after I moved to my old place, and I'm like, well, fuck. I was like, well, let me just cancel this. I'm not going to worry about it. And I had a bunch of people reach out to me, and they're like, dude, I'll sell you one, no problem. I was like, no, it's fine. I'll just try to get one on my own. It's not a huge rush or anything like that. But even today, they went up on Best Buy. I saw a Nintendo deal, put it up on Twitter. I clicked it. Within 2 minutes, they were gone. And I was like, wow, this is crazy.
That really is crazy.
For something that nobody wants, they sure as hell are buying it.
Nintendo fans, man, they're a different breed.
They're loyal as fuck, dude.
Literally a different breed.
They're like Knicks fans. They get along with the good and the bad.
Facts.
All right, okay. Let's read these super chats real quick. I saw a few pop up. Shout out to Kubini Gaming, sorry. Welcome to the channel. Shout out to you. Says, hey, bitch, still haven't found any info on Halo being on last gen. Hope you figured it out. Thanks, brother. Keep up the great work, and congrats on the IGN deal. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. And Simba dropped a $5 super chat. He didn't leave a message, but he dropped a $5 super chat. Shout out to you. Thank you. Let's get into this gaming week, man. This gaming week was kind of eye-opening, huh, RGT? Eye-opening for a few things.
Very, very interesting week.
Yeah, little, dudes was like, questionable week. Let's just go ahead and get into this, man. I'm going to start with Halo Infinite. Let's work our way up that. Halo Infinite was shown the actual campaign. I'm gonna go right to you, RGT. How'd you feel on this, man? We saw the campaign. It did get some improvements from the original showcase, better textures here and there, but they clearly need some work still in the game. There's pop-ups still happening in the game, a few other things of that nature. It looks good though. It looks like it plays better. The grappling hook, all that stuff's cool, but what's your thoughts?
You know my story about Halo campaigns, right? I'm pretty sure I told this on the episode of the Mooch show that we were on together. I've never beaten a Halo campaign.
Wow.
I don't care about them. Everything. I got into Halo with Halo 2 when I started working at GameStop, and we would have like tournaments there and stuff, and I loved it. I had a modded Xbox. I couldn't play on Xbox Live, but I would use X-Link Kai. Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo Reach on the Xbox 360, loved them to death. I never got around to playing any campaigns.
Wow.
So
I
watched the campaign trailer, and it definitely looked improved over that, but I'm already sold on this game from the multiplayer bear.
Oh, are you multiplayer? Okay.
Yeah, he's multiplayer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
I forgot to ask you. I figured did it look at least appealing, to you versus last time?
It definitely looked better, and it's good that this game had a delay. Could it possibly use another delay to improve things on the campaign as far as a visual standpoint? I mean, clearly, but this is also, you got to remember, this Halo game is not the Halo that we grew up with. This is essentially like they want a 10-year life cycle out of it, and that's something that patches can do, and you can always upgrade things along the way. So it'll be, and look at how much stuff isn't included on day one, so it's obviously stuff that they're going to continue to work on, but I definitely thought it looked a lot better than that initial presentation that we saw from it, but it could still use some work.
Yeah, we said this with Kate Yeager when we had her on. A lot of staple features were removed before we even got it. You know what I mean? There's no online co-op for the story. They confirmed ray tracing is also not available day one. I don't think it's the ray tracing part, but when you see the game in that reveal and it's like, okay, there's no ray tracing, it makes you look at it and go, well, damn, what else did you not include in this game, so to speak? But it was a little rough, especially in this part in the trailer. I don't know, what I'm talking about, where they drop the ship, the little wasp, and it flaps, and you see the little sparks. I'm sitting there going, guys, could you at least done like a fade cut so you wouldn't see the sparks? Now people are gonna break this thing to pieces, and that's literally what happened on the internet. Everybody was just having a field day, just with the wasp alone.
It wasn't great. It definitely looked pretty half-assed. So
very rough.
You would think that they would want to put their best foot forward with it, and if that's their best foot, it's kind of like, ugh, like
imagine Nintendo doing that with Mario.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Like you gotta come out strong with it. But I still think it's gonna be a great game. I just think it's gonna be a game that'll take time to get to that greatness standpoint. But
I get you,
like I said, that's what we got with these. We want this game to last 10 years. That's the downside of this whole mindset that companies have nowadays.
Okay. All right. I'm going to Blaze 4K. Blaze, we're officially talking about this, man. How you felt about that campaign?
Yeah, I was watching it over and over, and then I said, you know what? I'm just going to go live. It was like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know why, me. I go live at like 1
I caught a little bit of that with the bed. You were like literally up like 2 a.m. streaming.
Dude, I can't. I gotta wake up for 6 and go to work. This is why I'm depressed in life. Anyway, yeah, I'm watching it and I'm like, you know what? It does look improved, And then like I'm watching, I'm like I like RGT Big Cloud knows, like I like the finer things. Like if you shoot somebody and they have armor on, I expect sparks, like chunks flying off. And they had it with like the helmet part. You see the guy get sniped, but I'm watching this guy get shotgun, this alien, whatever the fuck he was, get shotgun twice, and it's just going into him. There's no reaction from the enemy. There's no impact from the bullets. He's just shooting into air. If bro, I'm gonna clip it and show it to you after. And I'm like, dude, what? And then like the grappling hook, it goes in him, and it's like there's no, I don't know, maybe
there's no added detail, like it claps on and then just like.
Bro, but this is fucking Halo. This ain't State of Decay. This is your biggest IP you own, Xbox. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to nitpick, but this is the best of the best. When you think of Halo, you think of Xbox, and vice versa. I'm like, and then people are like, oh, I hate Far Cry 6. Well, this looked like Far Cry to me. Go to this camp, blow up these barrels, fight this boss, clear out, like that's what it looks like. And it's, I like that type of shit, but the game looks improved, but it's not. Listen, this is like what, 6 years of development with all the resources and all the money you got. You got Microsoft and Xbox is back, and this is one of your biggest IPs. That's not even debatable. And I just feel like it's a little underwhelming. And I think visually it looks good, but I just feel like it could be better.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you're out your seat type of thing. You know what I mean? Like a Spider-Man 2 reveal or hell, the Wolverine reveal. Yeah, I remember that. That broke the internet. It wasn't like that type of reveal.
This is cross-gen, correct?
Yes. Yeah, okay. It was cross-gen.
So they're like, well, some guy in the comments like, yeah, because I didn't want to talk out of my ass, but he's like, Blaze, this is cross-gen. What do you expect? Like, all right, but I watched Horizon the Horizon new trailer, and I was like, holy shit. That looks beautiful. It's vibrant. Like, I'm like, there's way more detail packed. There's way more new, and it's a sequel. I'm just saying, man, we can't. I've been in the flight beta since the first one. I think the multiplayer is fantastic. It's a lot of fun. I was low key addicted. I was waking up thinking about playing the game, but it's just disappointing, man. I like this that I'm going like at a low level, so when I do play it, hopefully it'll blow me away, because like every time I'm ready and I can't wait for this campaign, and you play and you're like, damn, man, yo, gaming nowadays, bro, you just got to go in with low expectations, because if you go in there with anything above that, unless it's like I
couldn't agree more.
An IP that was like synonymous that don't like when it's a Naughty Dog game, I don't gotta worry. Maybe the story's gonna be fucking trash, right? But the game's gonna be incredible.
Okay, all right. Good point. Shout out to Paradoxer77 with the 9 months of support as a channel member. Shout out to you, my guy. Salute. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna say that for last. We're gonna go into this one. So God of War was confirmed for PC, and of course the internet melted when this was announced. I've been calling this for months, saying that
get mad over that type of shit. I would never do that. I would never say God of War was
yeah. You would never say you saw your console in half, sir. But dudes were losing their minds over this. And obviously, in the midst of them losing their minds, Sony announced that we were going to get a state of play. The state of play just happened. We watched it. I think it was the other day, or it was either yesterday or the other day. And funny thing was about the state of play, it was actually leaked. A lot of people didn't see the leaks. I saw it because I got tagged into them. And the leak said it was going to be a big third-party showcase. It was going to show something Final Fantasy related, and that's it. And this is what I was trying to warn you for, Blaze, when we were talking to Kate on last year. I was like, this ain't looking too good. It's looking kind of spooky. And the show happened, and whoo, that's not a way to blow people away. In fact, this is probably one of the weakest state of plays I've seen in a long time. Very mid, if not bad.
It showed a lot of indie titles, right? Like, if you're not into indie titles, you're going to look at it and like, what is this PlayStation? Like, people can't just expect. Look, even I thought the show was very mid. They had like Death's Door. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They had a couple good. Look, just because it's a side scroller or it's, indie-esque, like people like, even when I took a step back and kind of looked at a few games, I'm like, all right, there's a couple good games here, but it's not for me. But I think people just see state of play and they expect big AAA, boom, show me
and
it.
Usually
But
have something to wow you to end the show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Right.
you got to come guns a blazing, right? We're not saying that. But usually you have some worthwhile announcement, especially when you say your key franchise, God of War, is going to PC. You would think you have
So you
something
seen they
to
need to
take
make
the
up for it?
attention. Well, I mean, again, I already told you, like the way I don't know if RGT caught on to this, but the way Sony treats the little hardcore guys that be going on Twitter and arguing all the time about these announcements, the way they got them trained is like attack dogs. They know what to throw in your face to get your attention off of looking at a game going to PC to keep you looking at them. So, my example of this, right? God of War was confirmed for PC. Hey, state of play. Oh, what about God of War? Oh, we got a state of play new game. And they'll start doing stuff like that. And I keep telling them, I'm like, yo, bro, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to really look at what's happening in front of you and stop taking the bait. It's so many things they can easily do. And they're getting, it's becoming so easy with them at this point. It really is. They're this close. They're actually, the door is wide open for PC now. Wide open.
Yeah.
Before it was like creaked. You know what I mean? It was a little creak. Now it's wide open, and you're hearing
God of War is there,
Sackboy.
anything can go, bro.
Yeah, Sackboy was reportedly supposedly going to go. Now the Colin Moriarty comments about Bloodborne remaster / port. That makes sense now, right? All that stuff. It's like it's a new ball game from at this point, and of course, Sony pretty much made that statement loud and clear when they announced that they have the PlayStation PC marketing thing, which was basically it replaced the PlayStation Mobile, right? If I remember correctly, that's what it was. It replaced the PlayStation Mobile. So yeah, it's PlayStation PC. So they're now officially all in with the whole thing.
Before RGT goes, I want to say something to him. RGT, I know you've seen a tweet, right? You might have not known it was me, but I'm like, they're asking me, you think God of War is going to PC? I'm like, bro, there's no fucking way. No way. I know you've seen it. You've seen it, right?
I've seen it.
I tried to save him, bro. I tried to
But
save him.
listen, that was like 8 months ago. I didn't look it. I was holding on to hope. I got a great PC. I got a top of the line PC. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I understand what's going on. But I was holding on to hope, like, yo, if they release God of War, then it's the floodgates, right. But I was out, like, bro, how the fuck would you feel? Like, maybe you don't care, but like, I'm like, damn, like, that's why Nintendo games, like Nintendo, they might be ass backwards. They might not have certain features, but they're firm on shit. Like, you want to play this game, you're gonna buy a Switch. If not, go pirate it or whatever. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, that's right. Gotta give Nintendo credit, bro, and they sell. That's it. But like, I was holding on to hope. Look,
Nintendo a different breed, though. We just established that Nintendo can get away with cold-blooded murder with Nintendo fans, and they will buy it.
There
$80 for a family plan,
and them to death,
bro.
Defend them. This isn't that bad. This is
okay,
but it's not that good.
Exactly. $80 RGT for a family plan for online, and it doesn't have voice chat and none of the components. What are we doing here?
Yeah, like I follow accounts on Twitter that are just the most diehard people, and like they will defend anything. Wow. Anything Nintendo does. And some of these people are content creators. Some of these people are friends of mine. And I just look at them, I'm like, that could never be me. If I don't like something, I'm going to talk shit about it.
I like that.
But as far as
it can't be me.
As far as the PlayStation PC thing is concerned, I think the writing was on the wall, and I don't think it's going to be like what Microsoft does. Microsoft, everything is, day and date. You play it on your PC with Game Pass. You play it on your Xbox with Game Pass. Most everything. And I think that works for Microsoft's benefit, because when you look at Microsoft as a company, one of their weakest divisions is the video game company. Yeah. That's not saying that the video game company is doing, or portion is doing bad. It's just from a business perspective. Their
strong suit, yeah.
It's not their strong suit. Whereas with Sony, that is one of their strong suits. It's one of their most profitable divisions. So Sony is able to basically take their older games, games like Horizon, games like Days Gone, introduce them to a new audience. I mean, God of War, if you wanted to play that game, you've already played that game.
Yeah,
I think the reason why Sony is pushing this so hard now is the fact that I mean, Horizon was on top of the Steam sales charts at $50 when it came out. Same thing with Days Gone. And it's like, those games are $5-10 on your PlayStation 4 to play it on your PlayStation 5. What are you doing? So there's obviously a market for it, but I do think it'll just be older stuff. I don't see them going day and date with stuff like that, because they are like Nintendo. They want people to buy their hardware. Microsoft, I don't think gives a shit. I think if Nintendo or Sony said, hey, we want Game Pass on our system, Microsoft would do it. They would do it in a second, because they just want people to play their games. They want people to subscribe to their services more so than their hardware. Whereas with whereas with a company like Nintendo or a company like Sony, they live and die by you buying their hardware.
Okay. Do you see the gap getting smaller, like in terms of the weight between games going to PC? You know, I'm talking about, like, we used to have 4 years between games, 3 years. Do you see it getting, like, let's say about a year, maybe less than a year for games after launch to start going to PC? The reason why I asked you that, I don't know if you saw the leaks for PC. It was like a GeForce leaks. You remember that? Or NVIDIA leaks. It showed Returnal. We'll get to that in a second. We showed Returnal, we showed God of War. What else did it show? It showed some other stuff that was going. But yeah, I mean, that there.
I think it could get smaller. It really depends on how profitable it is at the end of the day. You know, if this is something that they want to invest the time and resources into, and they're seeing good returns from it, then yeah, it could be. They could definitely shorten that gap to a year or two. I still don't think it would be something like the same year, because even some Switch exclusives have gone to PC or are going to PC. Daemon X Machina was a 1-year console exclusive, then it went to PC. Monster Hunter Rise, same thing, 1-year console exclusive. I feel like the 1-year barrier is good enough. You're going to get those people who want to play this game within that first year. And then towards the tail end, the people can decide, well, maybe I'll wait for a PC version, or maybe I'll pick it up on the console. But I think the year is a sweet spot. You can go above a year, of course, but anything less than a year, you definitely have to sort of, I think, question what their motives are and what the future of their company is going to hold.
Yeah, they said in the corporate strategy meeting, when they started talking about organic growth down the road for games, or when they showed Spider-Man, they showed Horizon. Spider-Man obviously is not confirmed yet for PC, right? But we saw Horizon, that's on PC. We know Uncharted was also on the list, and that went to PC. And they talked about like 8%. About 8 to 10% of gamers who are willing to buy the games on PC. So I think, that really does paint a picture of, more happening here. And the thing about it too, Horizon only sold about 1 million on PC. Days Gone sold more, if I'm not mistaken. God of War, I think, is going to be the real test. You know what I mean? Like in terms of sales. I really want to see if that one breaks the expectation. If that breaks the expectation, let's say 5, let's just throw 5 million out there, right? I think that'd be you know what I'm saying? I think really that gap. And the reason why I said that, and then I'm gonna piggyback what you said about, the day and date thing. You see this on Twitter, obviously. We're not blind to this. Dude's like, I'm done with PlayStation if they do this, that, and the third. And yet, as soon as another game gets announced or showed, what do they say, RGT? Oh, our PlayStation's the best. PlayStation's the best thing since sliced bread. It's the greatest thing ever. I'm sure going, but I thought you were done with PlayStation. I thought you were PC master. Yeah, I thought you were PC master. This is why I'm like, bro, I think personally, I don't even think it would affect them, because I think dudes are just so entwined in what's comfortable with them. You see what I'm saying? Which is a box.
Exactly.
I think the box will always have an importance to them regardless. I mean, hell, Sony just announced they sold 13 million. And man, I think they're fine.
I don't think console sales are going anywhere to the point of where Sony needs to freak out about it. I mean, the PlayStation 5 is outpacing the PlayStation 4. The Switch is going to outsell the PlayStation 4. Who knows what that's going to end up selling. Yeah. And then you have Microsoft, who hasn't really talked about their system sales, but like I said, I don't think they care. They want your money via Game Pass. And it makes sense for Sony, because you said Horizon sold 1 million on PC. That's 1 million sales you didn't have at a premium price point as well. No
profit. You're right.
Yeah. And what did you do? You up-res some textures. You threw in ultra widescreen support. This, that, and the other. It's like, that's easy money. That's found money. You're playing with house money with that. It's like everything is gravy with that. So It's an interesting strategy, and I do think you're going to see more stuff. I think Spider-Man would be really cool just because of texture mods and stuff like that. Like people will go crazy.
Not just that though. Remember the MCU? Tom Holland, I think, is done unless they're signing another deal, and maybe that's part of the deal. Like, hey, yo, Sony, you put that game on PC, we'll put Venom. We'll start writing Venom into our world, and you have Tom in here. We can do something else. But
I think PS5 games will be a real issue. I think people have a problem with the PS5 games going to PC so soon. Return will make sense on PC when you look at it like a, that's a piece that's screaming play me on PC, that type of game. Look, man, it's not a big deal, man. Like I'm prepared either way. I own every system. I'm a traditional console guy. I love my physical hardware. I'm digital on PS5 and PS4 because I game share, and that's the way it is. But you know my collection. Like, it's not RGT, but I own a lot of physical hardware, a lot of consoles, and I just how would RG? Let me ask you this: if Nintendo comes out tomorrow and says, "Hey guys, fucking Mario, the new Mario Kart's coming out and it's on PC as well," you're still gonna buy a Switch version because you want that, dude? Do you understand? When I got Dark Souls on a cart, Dark Souls was on this tiny little cart. It's mine. It's like, how would you feel about? I don't know.
I feel like PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games coming to PC isn't quite the same as like a Switch game coming because of that gap. Because when you play, you could play Metroid Dread at 4K before the game released on the Switch officially. And it's like you would get so many more improvements in terms of performance. Maybe the Switch game runs at 30 frames per second on the Switch, but it runs at 60 and 4K on the PC. So if you went down that road, you're really opening it up to that and saying, there is a big power gap. That's why these games are on PC now. And then I think you would have an interesting shift. Whereas, a PlayStation 4 game or a PlayStation 5 game, sure, it does look better. You can get things like ultra widescreen support. But I would probably say 90% of PlayStation owners don't really care. It's not enough of an upgrade to spend another $50 for it, a couple years later when it comes out on PC. But with Nintendo, you would have that substantial upgrade to where it's like, oh, damn, like this is a better version of it. Why am I wasting my time with this? So it would be very interesting. And really, Sony is pretty much in their infancy with this PC stuff. Yeah. Maybe they got lucky with the first two games because people just wanted to check them out. Maybe things will start to slow down, but I don't think they will. I think it's something that they're going to continue to explore.
They're definitely testing their audience, especially with the director's cuts. They're definitely testing dudes. They're repack, and you already know they're really testing people with that. Good God, because I already feel it in my bones. I keep telling Blaze this, but I really think Last of Us 2 is going to get one, low key.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah,
because I don't like what's up with factions. Is that a thing?
They just said they just started on it. They said they just started on that. So I'm like, RGT, if you just started on that, what the hell have you been doing this all the time? Oh, you're remaking the first one. Who asked for a remake of the first one, RGT? Nobody.
Well, that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but nobody asked for it. That's the worst part.
And what's weird? I could see that game being a PC game.
Yes.
A little bit sooner than maybe some of the other games are because of the tie-ins with the show and all that sort of stuff. That's a game where you want it all over the place. And plus, it's an older game, so I don't think your diehard audience, unless it's a diehard Twitter audience, they'll want to kill you. But like the normal diehard audience, I don't think they would mind that much. It's like, oh, it's just the first Last of Us. But there's a lot of different ways they can go with it, and I think it's 2023 is, or what year is this? This is 2021. Okay, 2022. 2022 is going to be one of the most interesting years in video games, I think, because there's going to be a lot of things. You can already look at software wise. Software wise, the first half of the year is absolutely insane, but just from the business perspective of which sort of avenues these companies are going to go down, things are going to get very interesting and very fast with this. So it'll be exciting though. Okay. Shout out to Big Mike, Danny in the chat platform. What's up, y'all?
Shout out to Lady Foxfire. Everybody put birthday emotes in the chat for Big Mike. Happy birthday, man. Happy belated birthday.
Birthday, buddy.
Birthday.
I got 2 super chats. One from Paradoxer again. He dropped a $2 super chat. He says, Ryan, if you ever go mainstream, I'm going to troll your channel. I'm not going to go mainstream. Stop it. And we got one from Neo Wise. He dropped a $5 super chat. I appreciate you, man. He says, unless Sony has day and date up that day. I'm sorry. Day 2 back. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So, let me rephrase that. Unless Sony has data to back up that date and date won't affect their sales, they can do it. And I see multiplayer games being console exclusive and PC. That's what he said. Okay. Yeah, I can see that to a certain extent. I think we all can agree to a certain extent. But it's really going to come down to God of War and how well that game does, personally, in my opinion. If that game really does break their expectations and sells past 5, you're going to see a different, you know what I mean? Because if y'all look at the speed in which these games have been announced for PC, it's been pretty fast. Wouldn't you agree, RGT? It's been hella fast.
It was like, it's like boom, boom, boom. Every time you turn around,
Right.
you know, it's either announced or there's a new rumored one. And a lot of these rumors are starting to come true. So, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a lot of smoke right now.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's always a rumor, right? It's never like, God of War, finally they came out and said, hey, we're announcing. But you always got to find out from a third party or a leak. It's like, man, PlayStation, just tell us what's coming out, bro.
Yeah.
Tell us what's coming out, man.
So how y'all feel about that? So you just brought up a good point. Transparency, right? Sony is not very transparent with nobody. They're very quiet on social media. Microsoft is very open. They keep talking, right? But there are days where you talking can really hurt something. Halo Infinite is a prime example of that, with that CGI part of the gameplay that was in the trailer. You know, because I'm talking about the campaign. Why is that in there? You know how the internet is. They're very picky. They'll go, well, that's not going to be in the game. That's not capable. You know, the system's not capable of doing that, even though we know it can. But they said it's not an engine.
Oh, the cutscene ain't a big. I don't mind. Like if they show cutscene, then they show gameplay. I'm not. But if they showed a cutscene the whole time, I would be pissed off. But they showed gameplay. You know what I mean? What?
True, but
yeah. But Big Cloud, this is the problem with especially delaying games. Look at Cyberpunk. They delayed it, and they didn't have the balls to delay it again. They knew they wanted to, and they knew they should have. But that's Microsoft's in that certain position where they just don't have the balls to delay it again. They know they should have done it, but they're too deep now. Like, look, man. Fuck PlayStation. I don't give a fuck, man. I really don't care anymore. I don't give a fuck, bro. You know, let PlayStation do what they want.
So what?
Jim Ryan's a fraud.
Are you going to say this in front of everybody? Shout out to Sony, everybody. But you going to say you're going to rip that pony contract? You're ripping that contract?
Bro,
now?
I'm not. Listen, Ryan. Unlike other PlayStation guys, I own a Switch. I own Xboxes. These other PlayStation guys are not playing Forza when it comes out. They're not playing Halo. They're not buying Mario Party. They're not doing none of that. I play games, bro. You know me. I play all games. I own all games. I'm just telling you that.
You're at that crossroads.
The value of my PS5 the value of that console, when there's nothing to, if games are coming out on PC, I'm gonna play it on my PC because it's just gonna be the better version of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't own. Listen. Like RGT said, like if Switch was putting out games, you see the disparity. You see like, damn, Metro Dread had 4K textures. You know, like I honestly. Let them do whatever they want, honestly. Spider-Man with mods would be fucking nuts.
You already know. Black suit mods. Already.
I don't care anymore, bro.
Don't care? Well,
I don't care. I really don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode we made history. We have RGT 85 here for history. We broke Blaze 4K live in front of all of you. Look at that. That's a broken man.
Big Cloud, suck my...
And I warned you prior.
You're in Connecticut, huh?
Yeah.
Damn. Delaware to Connecticut. I'm in Mass. Connecticut's not bad.
Yeah, I was originally born here. My family moved to North Carolina, or my parents moved to North Carolina when I was like 11, and then I stayed in North Carolina until then. And I was like, why the fuck am I here? I don't like it here. It's like I never got used to a like Southern lifestyle, and I was like, this isn't for me. So when I went full time on YouTube, I was actually doing a convention here in Connecticut, and as a guest, and I was like, I gotta get back up here. So when I went full time on YouTube, I literally just took a place that I found in downtown Wilmington, Delaware. Never even saw it. It was just like a decent little place and it was cheap, and I was like, I'll live here for a year. If YouTube works out full time, great. If not, I'll figure something out. But so Delaware was kind of just like a pit stop, and then it ended up going good, so I came back up here.
Can I ask him one thing too?
Go
before
ahead.
he gets out of here?
Yeah.
How are you? Listen, I am super depressed with wrestling.
Oh, y'all want to go into? We can go right into
just
wrestling.
real quick because because I know you're big.
I was gonna say that
WWE is fucking horrible.
He wants to go right into the wrestling.
I'm arguing with this guy because he's like, "Oh, dude, Roman Reigns is a great speaker now." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
He improved.
He has improved. Fuck Roman. He's never been a great speaker.
He has improved. He's improved. That's the tribal chief. I will give him that.
The problem is you can have too much of a good thing with him. And initially, I loved the tribal chief stuff. I was like, this is great. This is so refreshing. Right? Yeah. He's finally embracing a bad guy, and he's doing a great job of it. But now it's been nearly 500 days that he's been champion, and it's always the same shit.
Outcome,
Here come the Usos. Oh, I'm not dropping the belt. It's like
a low blow, Superman punch.
Yeah, like they're afraid to switch it up, and they're afraid to do anything different. Yeah. And they feel like they can't to some extent because people aren't going to want to maybe see that. But it's like, it will. And part of the problem, honestly, is the whole SmackDown being on Fox, Raw being on USA thing. Because Fox and USA, they're always bitching it. They want this person on their show. This person wants that person on their show.
End the brand split, have one champion, and just have it natural. That way, it makes sense personally.
Yeah, so it's causing a lot of problems. But I mean, AEW, they're not perfect, but it's definitely a breath of fresh air. It's definitely a lot more fun. It actually is something that. You watch a 3 hour, like I could watch it. I haven't watched Raw probably in like 4 weeks. I feel like I could watch Raw this upcoming Monday and know exactly what's going to happen. Whereas with AEW, you have that surprise element, who's going to pop up, who's going to
made you tune in. That's the shit that makes you tune in.
RGT, we were fucking geeking out at that last AEW like pay-per-view they had with the Bucks versus the Lucha Bros.
Oh yeah, dude! I was at my grandma's house watching.
I was losing my fucking shit. How much they did in that pay per view? So many amazing reveals. Adam Cole, Daniel Bryan officially makes his in ring, appearance. It's like, dude, this is this. And I mean,
it's a great company because. They get the big stars, but then they also kind of make stars. Like, nobody really knew who Nick Gage was unless you're like a hardcore. Yeah, like unless you're a hardcore wrestling fan, you didn't know who this crazy Nick Gage guy was. And then they bring him in to do a death match with Chris Jericho with panes of glass, and light tubes and stuff. And it's like WWE would never. Like that's the problem. WWE believes they have their own little bubble. And everything is self-contained in this bubble, and everything outside of the bubble doesn't matter. Whereas AEW is like, no, everything does matter. You have AAA tag team champions. They work with Impact. They work with other companies with stuff like that. And it helps those other companies get more eyes on them. It helps keeps things fresh. So it's the complete. It's almost like the territory days, Whereas WWE or WWF at the time sort of stamped out the territory days and made their own little thing where they had this own self-contained bubble, and they never really grew beyond that. They never changed with the times as far as expanding.
You know what I'm waiting for? Because they have, obviously, Kenny Omega, the dude's a legend in New Japan Pro Wrestling, right? I'm waiting for that bridge when they officially announce, hey, guys, we're working with New Japan Pro Wrestling, so we can see Will Ospreay make his debut, so we can see Okada make his debut. That would be some incredible television because they're amazing wrestlers. It's like, that's like the best. This is like the best time to be a wrestling fan with AEW by itself. Not only that, you knew they were playing for keeps when they debuted a belt that looked more serious and more prestigious than anything you see in WWE. Like, WWE has these ugly ass logos, but these logos are ugly as hell, and they're on red and blue straps. There's no creativity with these belts. They're ugly as
fuck.
fuck.
It's like, oh, this is the color of the show we're on. It's like, come on.
Like what is
the winged eagle is the
where's
best.
Where's the winged eagle?
Yes,
Jesus,
winged eagle was fire.
Change that.
You know what I like? I even like I like the one that they debuted with The Rock. You remember when The Rock first won it recently? And he had like it's basically the same design, but it had like a better logo and it had champion legit on there. It was like more better. That looks better than the one we have now. But it's like they got rid of that for the streamlined belt. It looks
the winged eagle, the WCW belt, like
gold
winging
that shit. You think WWE actually feels the heat because, like you said, they're in their own bubble? Do you think because the ratings are, dude, Monday Night Football, all that shit's But I'm just saying, like ratings are down. Like, do you think they feel the heat because they got their own network? They don't, It's like, bro, they're relying on all these old, they can't let go of the past. They don't know how to bring out new talent and make it interesting. Like you said, they're using fucking different weapons. Like, I can't stand. Look, I understand concussions, bro. But god damn it, when a guy bends down to take a fucking shot to the back, really pisses me the fuck off, bro.
You know what pissed me off?
Can you use something like a different type of material to knock some guy in the head? Can they get away with using something? Come up with something like?
Use the gimmick chairs.
Right,
I mean,
the breakaway,
breakaway that's what AEW has. I mean, they don't use them all that often, and the first time they used them, it still fucked up Cody pretty bad when Shawn Spears hit him. But like, in that match between Sammy Guevara and I think it was Shawn Spears, like they had headshots in it, and it was like, okay, awesome. That's a nice visual, and obviously there's precautions being taken into that, put the hand up and breakaway chairs and stuff, but. As far as feeling the heat is concerned, yes and no. Yes, because Vince McMahon thinks he's, still, 50 years old and running a company and, can handle all this. So he does feel that pressure. No, because of the fact that they're making more money right now than they ever have.
That's mostly they sold the Fox.
One Saudi Arabian show is I think I saw a statistic. I might be misquoting this, but one Saudi Arabia show has earned more revenue than every WrestleMania combined.
Which is wild.
It was something like that. And it's just like, until it really affects their bottom and look at their bottom line. They can afford whatever the fuck they want. So what do? They fired a bunch of people. They fired
Wyatt.
They fired Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
They let Adam Cole go. They let Daniel Bryan go. They let Braun Strowman go.
Braun Strowman wasn't really a draw, though. He could go.
But he had a big contract. He was $1 million contract. So that was a reason probably why they let him go. But it's just like
he's a big man, bro. Like you don't see guys that big, like fucking.
That's really.
But that's what Vince gets a hard on for. Yeah. So that's what made it weird. Like you got this big agile guy who's he kind of sucks on the mic. Okay, whatever. Put him. Give him a manager, and then it seems like it would have been an easy thing. So I don't know, because like look at NXT, they completely redid it, and
bro, it's ugly. I don't like the color scheme. I don't like what they've done with that. I thought personally they were going to change the belts. You know what I'm talking about? Like and match that thing. Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to do that because the logo is different. So I'm wondering if that NXT title is going to get a rebranding when Ciampa loses it.
Yeah, but I mean, the new NXT is weird because if you watched like the first 2 episodes, it was like, what the hell is going on? They kept introducing like a new person every segment, and you're like, who is this person? And they're like the Italian guy. Hey, Tony. It's like okay,
hey, I'm supposed to take Mandy Rose serious. Okay,
so. I mean, and that Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard are the ones that are booking all of that. They are completely hands-on with that. And you could tell because of the guys that they're starting to push, the Von Wagners and the Steiner kid. I forget, Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker, yeah.
Call him. He looks like a Steiner. He talks like a Steiner. He dresses like a Steiner. He does Steiner moves. Call him Steiner. It drives me nuts. Yeah. But like, and then the women's division, look at all your champions now. It's all, more of a, I guess, aesthetically pleasing type of woman that is holding the belt, which is what, Vince gets his rocks off on. So it's definitely been an interesting shift, but it's about consistency. And that's one thing. because like for all intents and purposes, the Crown Jewel pay-per-view that just happened like 2 weeks ago, that was one of their best shows of the year,
which is surprising.
It's completely surprising because usually those are ass. But I was watching, I was like, this is a damn good show. You know, this is fun. This is good matches, good storylines. Why can't you consistently do this? And that's the problem, is the consistency isn't there. And
bro,
what?
Who's writing the shit? Like, because they give Vince Russo shit, but I feel like when he was doing it, like I like those little bullshit soap opera. You know, I don't know, man. Who's writing their shows?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about Vince Russo is I always say this whenever I talk to anyone who knows wrestling and video games. To me, Vince Russo is Hideo Kojima, and Vince McMahon is Konami. You have a mind that can go all over the place, but you need someone that says, you know, maybe that's a little too much, or let's tweak it like this. That's why Vince McMahon and Vince Russo worked so well together, because they would bounce ideas off each other. And if something was bad or to the shits, they would, go and back to the drawing board and try to figure out something. Just like Kojima. Kojima at his peak had Konami to be like, this is a little too much. And then when you let Kojima go on his own, he made Death Stranding, which I know a lot of people love. You
gonna get into it? I'm just couldn't get into it. That's too much.
We can get into it.
You couldn't get into the game.
I played it for 15 hours, and I was like, this isn't
it takes a minute, because you're walking, you're actually working, and then when you get like past chapter 1 it opens up. But yeah, I agree.
And then look at the director's cut. That whole trailer was like, haha, Metal Gear Solid. It's like, what the fuck? This is what you should have made the game. What is this? The fun mode of the game where you have the motorcycle, you drive off a fucking cliff?
It's easy mode. You got catapults that can push cars across the map. Yeah.
Where was this? But I mean, that's how I look at it. Brilliant minds, but they have to have someone there to assist them and tell them maybe that's a little bit too much. And that's how I see Vince Russo and Vince McMahon and Kojima and Konami, because when they worked together, that's when things were brilliant. And when they stopped working together and gone their separate ways, WWE went in the toilet. Vince Russo went off on his own and was doing horrible stuff at the time in TNA, which is now Impact Wrestling. Konami is a shell of themselves, and Kojima is obsessed with Hollywood. So it's very weird to see the parallels there.
That's facts, bro. That's a great. Hey, Taker's my favorite wrestler, right?
Yeah.
WWE at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I always love Taker, bro. He loses the streak. What's your
to Lesnar?
I think when he lost the streak, that should have been it. Yeah. That should have been the last goodbye, and then you could have him pop up for like segments or something, tombstone someone, choke slam him. But as far as matches are concerned, that should have been it, because and they should have.
That's his essence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but were you okay with it? Because Big Cloud was like, oh, Lesnar, but Lesnar is the most believable guy to do it. I feel like.
I think if for a moment like that should have been saved for somebody who I believe was truly worthy. Like getting somebody that you like, you know what I mean? Like somebody you see
like
as like
company.
That's the thing. Punk could have took that streak or showing
because he wanted somebody that's gonna stay, bro. He don't want somebody that's gonna do that.
CM Punk was going to stay. He left after being treated like shit because they took his WrestleMania moment and gave it to him and Triple H. He didn't want to wrestle Triple H. He wanted to wrestle Taker. They didn't give him a moment. He wanted moments like that.
I think that's the problem, is they haven't built up really anyone in the past decade who, because think about it.
They don't want people to be Cena.
Who have they created? Look at their top stars now. Most of them got their name or their start on the indie scene. Your Seth Rollins, Edge is a legend, AJ Styles, Randy Orton is probably one of the last stars that they made. And Randy Orton was a difficult pill to swallow initially, until he had his moment. And that moment to me was his hardcore match against Mick Foley.
Yes.
He was a made
man. WrestleMania 22.
Made man after that. Taking thumbtacks and stuff. It's like, okay, you are passionate about what you're doing and you know what you're doing. Now, the writing may have been the writing may have been up and down over the years with him, but now he's a legend that you built up back in the early 2000s. They haven't really done that with anyone else. They haven't built any homegrown stars or given people a reason to think that, I mean, maybe the New Day. I could definitely, I could say the New Day.
They give him Demolition, right? Demolition Streak. It was like, yeah. New Day is good, but in terms of singles wrestlers, nobody's believable as a singles wrestler. I don't even believe.
What about Dolph Ziggler, bro? He's literally Mr. Ass and Shawn Michaels. Like, they could have did something with him, and they just fucking jobbed him this whole career.
They could have done something with Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode could have been the future.
Bobby Roode, too. I like Bobby Roode, bro.
He was it. That's... They killed all the stars.
It makes no sense because Ziggler, it's so obvious what you do with this. Yeah. You have a match at a WrestleMania. You have Dolph Ziggler versus Shawn Michaels, where Dolph Ziggler wins. At that same WrestleMania, and we're doing this a couple years ago, back when Shawn still had hair. He was on his way out, and Triple H was also had his hair. He was on his way out, and you do Bobby Roode versus Triple H, and you have Triple H lose, and then Bobby Roode.
Simple math, man.
It was right there. It was right there. But no, they didn't do it.
Bobby Lashley, I don't even believe Bobby Lashley. He just so forced. It's not funny.
The problem with Bobby Lashley is you keep putting him with Goldberg. Like, stop it. Stop it. Goldberg needs to be doing what he did with that Dolph Ziggler thing. Not with Dolph Ziggler, but just coming out there and destroying people and then leaving. You know, not doing matches and stuff like that. Like, I like Bobby Lashley. I think he's, as a pissed off dude who just wants to wreck you and he's chilling with hot women, that's a perfect thing. You know what? The Hurt Business. I love when they had they had all the tuxes and stuff like that. It was like, give these motherfuckers the gold. You have 4 people here. You could spread the gold across them. You know, make them a faction,
like an Evolution type of thing. They all dressed nice. They were all serious businessmen. Like, bro,
it was. I mean, for lack of a better term, it was like the Black 4 Horsemen, and it was like, this is a modern 4 Horsemen thing that the kids are gonna like it, and the old heads will like it because it reminds them of the 4 Horsemen. Why are we stuttering over this? And they completely screwed it up. It's just like they just get these ideas in their head, and then if it doesn't catch on instantaneously, it's like, we're not gonna do it. Like Retribution. Dude, Retribution. You built them up and then you job them out. It's like,
you know what Retribution really is, though, right? That was basically a remix of the Nexus.
Yeah.
You remember the Nexus? The Nexus with Wade Barrett, which was actually dope. That was natural. They killed them, and now they're not the same.
And WWE got its moments. Like, Big Cloud's like, dude, check this out. I click it. It's Edge coming out to the fucking Brood. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
My dick is like fucking popping out. Like, holy shit. Like, oh my God. You know, if they had Gangrel with him, I would have lost my fuck. But he's fucking whores and doing porn. But,
I think he was supposed to be there.
Yeah, he couldn't. He couldn't make it.
So like stuff. That's how you should properly
like make him rise from the ashes or something.
Yeah, do stuff like that. You know, you don't have to take Goldberg and try to make him the exact same person he was in 1998. Yeah. You take elements of his character, you take the positives from his character, things that he could still do now, to remind people. You know, have him run out there and spear someone through a barricade or so. Don't have him work a match. Have him do little things. You know, Edge can still work a match. Great. Have little callbacks to days gone by, so that when someone's flipping through the channels, you're like, oh, I remember that. Yeah. It's just so weird to me.
Remember Hardy? Hardy's another one that needs to go. He needs to leave, bro.
Jeff, he shouldn't have re-signed. When he re-signed, I knew that they were gonna screw him over because
they're trying to do Willow the Wisp now, I think, with him.
Yeah. Like it's and I mean he could still go. He's still got a few good years left in him. And when you look at that tag team division, which doesn't exist in the WWE, compared to AEW, it's like Hardy's versus FTR, Hardy's versus Lucha Brothers.
AEW is about to introduce a trios title. I feel it in my bones. They're going to introduce a trios.
I'm surprised it hasn't come yet already, because that was supposed to be something they've actually been talking about that for a while. And when you look at the trios lineups that they have, there are tons of options to go with that. So I think that would be smart, because you're giving people on-screen time. That's one thing that they're very good at, is giving people on-screen time.
Yes,
and they kind of sort of, you see them sort of cycle people in and out. You know, you'll see someone for like 5 weeks in a row, then maybe they'll take 2 weeks off, and then they'll come back or something like that.
But it works. You know what I mean? It makes them important and down the road. Like Pac. Remember how Pac, people thought he was going to be overexposed? Pac is, this dude, how you go from NXT, first NXT, he was on fire in NXT, right? Then they buried him on the main roster. They turned him a heel. He had his moment as the cruiserweight. He carried the division, fired him. He's in AEW. This dude's putting on 10-star classics.
Yeah, and like, you know, they're smart enough to lean into things. You know, if they see, like, the whole thing that they're doing right now with Cody.
Yeah,
people are thinking people are taking that Cody promo at face value, where he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to become a bad guy," and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, he's saying that to get more heat. Yeah, he's saying that because he wants people. And Cody Rhodes is the most old school person on that roster in terms of storytelling and stuff like that. You know, he's the complete polar opposite of someone like the Young Bucks, where you have dudes flipping and flying all over the place. But it's good because it offers, you know, a different type of wrestling. You know, you could watch an AEW show and get a bunch of different types of wrestling, and that's a good thing because variety is what's going to sell people. Look at, you know, WWF during their prominence. Their upper card, you weren't having, you know, spectacular matches, but they were spectacles. They were your Hulk Hogan versus Andre, or Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake. And on the undercard, you had your Savages, your Steamboats, your DiBiase's, your Jake the Snake, putting on those technical quality, Mr. fucking Perfect, like putting on these awesome bangers of matches. And, you know, it worked, but now it's just like everything is just so flat. Everything is just so stagnant. You see a match where, you know, a wrestler comes out and they're with their partner and they're doing a one-on-one match between someone else. You know what's going to happen. That the match, that it's going to be a DQ, and then they're going to restart the match as a tag team match. It's like, the predictability is just so
What kills
bad.
me personally is the point. Like, obviously, you see NXT go through this big change, right? Aesthetic change. Personally, it feels like they did all this change for NXT for no reason, because, first of all, these characters are not going to have the same theme music. They're not even going to have the same names when they hit the main roster. You know what I'm saying? Look at Karrion Kross. This dude looks like Shredder when he comes out. Where's his wife? You know what I mean? Look what they did to Keith Lee. Keith Lee was the most over thing in wrestling when he was.
That's Bearcat Lee, sir.
And I was like, Bearcat. What is a Bearcat? Well,
it's supposedly a throwback to another wrestler from like the 70s who had like a similar body style to him. But the problem is, you have to treat people. And it's a bad thing to say. You have to treat a lot of people like they're idiots. You have to explain things to them. You have to, a lot of people aren't going to seek out this information. You have to tell them why they should care about this, who this person is, why they're named this, and why they should care about it. Because because you might have someone who's more casual watching your show, and the fact that they never do things like that, it just it's going back to Braun Breaker. If you say, this is Rick Steiner's son, his name is Braun Steiner, motherfuckers are going to be like, well, hell yeah, I remember Rick Steiner. The Steiner brothers were awesome. I like this kid. But when you say, oh, this is Braun Breaker, he has a dog-faced gremlin attitude to him, it's like, stop it. You're being subtle, and it's stupid. Just say who he is.
The commentary is the
worst.
Awful, so I can't deal with it, bro. I can't listen to Michael Cole anymore. Dude, a couple things, too, like, big missed opportunity, and I don't know. Big Cloud, he tells me why, but like Cena never turning heel. I don't care about how many Make-A-Wish ever did. Like, why? NWO thing could have spun off or something like that. Why didn't he turn heel? Why? I know Stone Cold has a bad neck, but fuck, bro, you giving everybody key? You just come back for a fucking match, bro. One. It's too late now, but like, damn, man.
RGT, you remember that WrestleMania Cena came back, Thuganomics, and the whole fucking arena erupted?
Yes.
That moment would have been incredible. Yeah.
Look at it's a perfect analogy with what they did with Roman Reigns. He was stale as hell as a babyface. They made him heel, and granted, they've oversaturated it now. But when they first started off, it was great. Everyone loved it. Hulk Hogan was the most boring person in 1995 in WCW. Bash at the Beach 96. He joins the NWO. The rest is history.
Hollywood and just
it was amazing. It's the template is right there. Like, oh well, Cena does a lot of charity work.
You can still do charity work as a heel. He's loved.
Here's a crazy thing. Movie actors that kill people and rape people in their movies, they do charity work too because it's fake. It's a fictional story. It's make believe. It's just telling a story. The person who's acting this role isn't really a killer. Like it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre to me.
You know, I would love to do like somebody made this story. It was on. I don't know if you've seen it, RGT. They did like an in-game creative story thing where they said Cena is heel. He wants all the belts, and he like makes this gold belt or something like that. He wins all the time. I'm like,
no, I haven't seen that.
It was fucking hilarious, but it was like, bro, there's more creativity in this shit versus what I'm seeing on the main roster. And I'm sitting there going, imagine if he did go heel, and he made that ugly ass title a spinner belt.
And bro, going heel is honestly, to me, it's like when WWE has all these, they have so many forced, trying to get people over. Like when you try to get people over and you're forcing it in our face, like, bro, Daniel Bryan as a heel was always so much more entertaining to me. Bro, going heel is easier. I feel like going heel is easier than being a babyface. I feel like it is.
I just hated that belt that he got when he was a heel.
Heat, bro.
Yeah, I hated that belt. I hated the belt that Bryan had when he was heel. It was like an eco-friendly belt. I'm like, okay, you're a heel, but you care about the environment.
Yeah, that
was brown, weird. That was weird.
Like
it was
wood belt thing.
It was ugly.
But I mean, see, the thing about being a face or being a heel is a heel can have face characteristics. A face can have heel characteristics. Like what he's doing now, what Daniel Bryan's doing now in AEW, he sat there and he talked shit to Eddie Kingston. He basically called him a pussy, saying that, he never grabs the ball. He never does anything. He's still a face, but he's talking shit to another wrestler to try to get the best out of him to make the match interesting because they're trying to incorporate a story into it. It's not just wrestler A versus wrestler B for some random reason on your show.
Let them fucking use the mic, man.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
There's no sort of creative freedom. Everything has to come that you can't pitch an idea and have it become something. Whereas in AEW,
succotash on TV, like that became the most cringe moment. Like that's clearly not him saying that. That's a damn
exactly. The scripted promos should be a thing, but they should be for people who can't talk off the cuff. A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people can talk off the cuff. You let them talk, and you just let them do their thing. And then if somebody, they should ask people. It should be like, okay, can you talk off the cuff, or can you do or do you prefer a written promo? If they say they can talk off the cuff, sit them down, have them spit a promo. If they do good, just be like, all right, we're good with this. We'll run with it. If they do it and it sucks, they'll be like, okay, we'll script some of your stuff. We'll do bullet points, and then you just sort of work with it. It's just crazy.
How many people wouldn't have a voice without that, bro? Yeah. Think about that. Certain wrestlers you think of, like The Rock, or Speaking of The Rock, when's the last time he even made an appearance? He's been done.
I think he was supposed to be for Survivor Series, wasn't it? Something like that. He's supposed to be.
What was his last?
Well, they were supposed to do something with him and Roman. I think.
Yeah, he's probably the last obstacle.
I think that I don't know. I think that might have gotten put on the back burner because he wasn't like super interested in coming back. I mean, and that's another thing. Like I think he, to some extent, sort of understands that him coming back is just them not creating a new person and not creating a new wrestler. Yeah. I mean, and the thing of it is, there's so much talent out there right now. Look at the indies.
Finn Balor is destroyed.
Oh yeah, I mean, really, look inside your company too at all the talent. But even outside of your company, there's so much talent out there. There's so many people that you could easily make a star out of. It's just because you didn't find that talent before maybe a larger indie company did, or you didn't make that talent. You don't want that
his
talent.
Creation. God, it's so annoying. My Frankenstein or nothing. Like, fuck out of here. Bro, do you understand how spoiled we were in the 90s, bro?
Dude.
We had so much
shit. How spoiled we were, bro. Oh my. Just on WWF alone. Never mind WCW, bro. Bro, like, we were so spoiled.
Then we had badass movies like Ready to Rumble. Ready to Rumble really pulled on our heartstrings when we were younger.
I mean, you had you had premium wrestling, you had premium video games, premium music, premium movies, and this is not just
pay-per-views were always lit.
It's better because you came up during that era. It's like, no, statistically speaking, it was peak stuff. Yeah. There was peak stuff there. Like, you can't, you went from fucking Super Mario Brothers 3 to Super Mario 64 in the same decade. Like, mind-blowing stuff was happening here. Yeah. You had, WWF going from, the squeaky clean company into, essentially made for TV porn. You had WCW, which was this little Southern wrestling company, become huge and then fall and crumble in that decade. Like, it was crazy. It was
ECW.
ECW. Oh my God.
I love, dude, ECW. I mean,
rest in peace to
shirt on.
Rest in peace to New Jack, because we lost New Jack. R.I.P.
Yeah, that sucked, man.
That was the dude, man.
ECW. I love New Jack.
Saying that to my cousin, and he's like, "Bro, he didn't die from falling off the." I'm like, "Bro, like, what are you on, dude?"
New Jack was trying to kill people back in the day. That's what he made his career off of. But it was.
Did you see that the Dark Side of the Ring with him?
Yeah,
dude,
I loved it. I loved every second of it, and so many people were mad about it.
Pure nostalgia, right there.
That's who he was,
bro. He's not fake. I loved it because he said what he wanted to say, and that's it, dude.
The one that killed me was the Chris Benoit one. Like, when we really look at the details. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, I did.
That one broke me personally.
Which one? The Brian Pillman one was really fucking good too. Yeah. That was really good. That one was.
You see the Ric Flair one?
The Plane Ride from Hell.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. The Ric Flair. Yeah.
And you know what? A very underrated episode was the Canyon episode. You know, because it's sort of Father James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, was like a big part of that episode, and some of the stories he told about him and Canyon together, like all the crazy shit that Canyon would do because he was out of his mind over this whole trying to hide that he was a gay professional wrestler thing. Like, it was insane. It was insane. Like, that was a tortured fucking soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should watch Big Cloud. That one's actually crazy, bro. Like, imagine being a fucking a complete one. Like, he's portraying this like it, bro. You gotta watch that. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
One. I'll definitely do that.
You can watch it later if you want. Fuck it.
Oh yeah. Kamikaze brought up a heartstring. He says, "Here comes the pain for PS2." That's my all-time favorite right there. SmackDown versus Raw.
Shit's on everything. Fuck
No mercy,
I'm a no mercy boy.
No mercy. Yeah, I gotta ask y'all, man. With 2K, I'll have this be the last one. With 2K, obviously, you know, the hit different. It hits different. RGT, it hits different.
Yeah, a little bit different.
There's no it hits different, but
dude, 2K stands here. 2K. I mean, I know you.
It hits different because it hits different.
2K. Well, now I'm hearing a lot that there's going to be a ton of microtransactions in that game.
Yeah, I'm saying it hits different though. It hits different.
Like, is AEW gonna have the creator ring and upload? Like, bro, the fact you can get any wrestler you want.
That's true. Well, you know what? There's a game called Action Arcade Wrestling. It's
I heard about it.
I don't know if you played it, but it's fucking great.
It's a lot of shit you can do.
You could do all the rings. You can have all the wrestlers from any era. The wrestling itself is decent. It's it's kind of like a WrestleFest style game, but it's fucking phenomenal with all the customization you could do. I have a full 90s WWF roster, and I have a full AEW roster with arenas and logos and everything. So that game's awesome. But the AEW game is going to be very good. I know I'm friends with one of the guys who is who's like head of security there. He's always on Sammy Guevara's vlog. His name's Charlie.
Shout out to him. Okay.
He did a lot of the motion capturing for it, and like they're taking it very, very seriously, much like the product, because whereas in WWF or WWE, video games are now acceptable. Back in the day, if you played video games instead of snorting coke and popping somas, like, you were a dork. So there was no real input from the wrestlers on it, but the wrestlers in AEW, they're the ones that grew up on No Mercy and Here Comes the Pain and all the great wrestling games. So they're taking all those different elements and incorporating it into a modern game. So I think it's going to be very good. I don't know. I know there's Create a Wrestler for sure. I don't know if they're going to do Create a Ring and stuff like that. Which
it might come later with the sequel as well. Yeah.
But like WWE 2K20 was a train wreck.
Bro, they were crabs walking in the ring.
The story mode was so bad too. It's like this is not indicative of a product that you put on television. This is more of a teenage soap opera. And I get wrestling is a soap opera, but this was like something you would see on like MTV2 as like a brand new, like it's terrible. It was terrible. People don't talk like this. People don't act like this.
Dude, and when you combine all this shit with how the way the product is, especially with Charlotte is, being reportedly talking about trying to get out of her contract with.
Do you see that supposedly something happened last night?
Yeah.
Where Vince McMahon and her had a phone call and she threatened to burn the belt or something like that. It's like, this bitch is crazy.
That really tells it. Like, you can just tell, though, by the way she comes out now, like the way her demeanor is.
Miserable.
She does not want to be there. She does not like that title. She doesn't give a shit about the environment anymore. It's a trash company for her getting into a fight with Nia live on TV. Remember when Nia was slapping her around? Her and Becky really getting into it. Now I'm not even on Becky's side because she buried Bianca.
Yeah, that pissed me off so bad.
It's like this is what you're building, and you just kill her in 5 seconds.
And Bianca is so much better than Becky. And Becky's a good heel, but Bianca can be a face, but you can also tell that she could be a great heel too. And she's just a much better worker than her. Yeah. Like her wrestling is super convincing.
Better moveset, finisher. She's got it all.
Very fluid too. So that pissed me off. But I like Charlotte's in-ring work. I don't like her character. And now we don't even know what's really a character. And the only thing I'm worried about is if she does get out of her contract, I don't want her coming into AEW fucking everything up. If she is allowed to take a role, and I'm not saying that she can't get a championship.
Maybe she can oversee the women. Maybe she can help oversee them improve because their women's division has really improved since when we first saw. It's really improved. I think she can help get those girls in gear type of thing and bring more eyes.
She could poison it too, though.
That's
true. What I'm worried about.
Morale, she could poison the morale. That's true.
At least there are people like Thunder Rosa on the roster because Thunder Rosa will shoot on her and she'll just bust out her judo and fuck her up. But then you have the whole Andrade, her and Andrade. I think you put them together, and if you bring her in, you put her with Andrade, and then you have a perfect thing right there with Cody and Brandy, and then you could have Cody and Brandy turn heel, and then Andrade and Charlotte are the tweeners. You don't have them be full face, but you have them be tweeners because they're getting cheers. Andrade is getting cheers. He's getting
Andrade's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal wrestler.
Dude,
he has the best look. He looks like Black. Though he's like Black Mass when he comes out now. You know what I'm talking about? Like when it comes, I'm like, bro, where the hell was this? Like, why did we get this in WWE? I love that. He comes out in a luchador mask. He takes that shit off. He's like, let's go. It's time to work. Like, I love that. I
think you just have to put Charlotte on a bit of a leash, not to say, she's a dog or anything like that, but you need to not give her complete control, not give her full freedom of everything. I think if she's willing to do that and willing to play ball, which it's hard to say because, she's a product of the WWE.
She's so pampered, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what she does in a non-WWE environment. But if she's a professional like her father is, I think that, well, professional to some extent. At least in the ring, he's a professional. Maybe not outside of it.
Yeah, not outside.
But I think as long as she'd be pretty professional about it, she would be a great asset. But I do worry about her attitude and her maybe wanting to overtake the division, because really when you look at a lot of people say, AEW just gets all the WWE casts off and all that stuff. They're the ones who run the company. It's like you have Kenny Omega as your world champion. He was in NXT for a cup of coffee. Sammy Guevara, who's never sniffed WWE. Britt Baker, once again was a jobber on a few shows. And your tag team champions are the Lucha Bros who've never been in the company. It's like you can't say that. Yes, WWE people come in, but they don't overtake
They're not
everything.
They're not prime priority. Like Christian Cage is there just to work. He wanted to wrestle. That's it. Yeah. But guess what? He became Impact champion, and it was a dope ass moment. It was like, bro,
exactly,
this is awesome. Kenny brought more prestige to that belt because he held it with the AEW title and the AAA title, I think, right? It's like, dude, there was so much flexibility in AEW.
Christian finally getting this moment, man.
I love that about it. It's so much flexibility.
And they use the veterans in a smart way. Like even in losses, like people are like, "Oh, CM Punk, he's going over all these people." CM Punk made Will Hobbs, a star. You have this big hulking dude with a ton of talent, a ton of charisma, a fantastic look, and a really good worker. And you put him in there on his first televised match in 7 years, and you put him in there with this guy, and he takes him to the limit, and he just loses on a little fluke thing. Like, you made a star out of him. You didn't bury him.
People thought he was going to be the poster boy. I'm like, dog, CM Punk is there to make the future. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to be a champion. He's already a champion. He's one of the greatest WWE champions of all time. He doesn't need an AEW run. Now, he'll probably get one when he's ready to retire, you know what I mean? And that'll be it. Like AJ Lee, his wife is now, I don't know what's going on with her. She's going to this other company to.
Oh yeah,
that's weirdly weird.
With Tessa Blanchard.
Like why?
That's
so bad.
That's not someone you want as your forefront, but
it is exciting though to see because of the product being so bad at WWE, like people are leaving. Like you're seeing them at WWE 1 month and the next. Like that's so cool because like I thought I would never see that again. Like where like you see a big star and then you see him on a complete different show a couple months later. That's just.
Dude, Dean Ambrose compared to Jon Moxley, there is a big, huge difference between these two characters and AEW. And
you can even look on the indie side of things. Look at Matt Cardona.
Yes.
Matt Cardona went from Zack Ryder, Mr. Woo Woo Woo, who built up, an online presence before that was a huge thing or anything like that.
All his videos, bro. He was great.
Yeah.
Did a fantastic thing. Breaks out of the WWE system, goes to GCW and fights Nick Gage in one of the most bloody, disgusting, hardcore matches ever. And it's like, all right, this dude just reinvented himself, and now he's like the ex-WWE guy, the Hollywood star that he thinks he is, but he'll go into the trenches to show you that he's the best at this style of wrestling and this style of wrestling. It's like, once you get out of that WWE system, like, the sky is the limit. Dude. That you have so much more freedom with more indies on the rise.
RGT Rusev. Look at Rusev as Miro, bro.
Dude Miro's
it's night and fucking day. Like he had.
I'd like to thank my God and my hot wife for this. It's like, this is great. This is fucking. You're a psychopath.
Dude, he has the dopest belt. He had the dopest TNT championship, like the white strap. I'm like, bro, that is a dope ass belt. But I like how they're giving you creativity like that with the titles, and I can't wait because I know. Bray Wyatt, he tweeted, he was like 2 more days left for his contract, but I'm like, or his 90-day compete clause thing to be done. So it's like, with that being done, it's like, bro, and he was talking with the guy who created the Fiend mask. That gives me hope that this is going to be some special shit at an upcoming AEW pay-per-view because I think
he's going to Impact.
I don't think so, man. I don't think Impact can afford him.
Why would you think Impact?
Yeah, I don't think that he would go there.
Because if you look at it, AEW doesn't really like the spooky stuff and the story. Like when Matt Hardy first debuted and he did that teleportation thing, Tony Khan hated that, and he was like, "No, I don't want to do that." Look at Dark Order. Dark Order started out as kind of like this darkish cult, and now they're just a bunch of fun-loving guys. Now, granted, Brody's passing sort of impacted that. The only sort of scary character is Abaddon, and she's obviously, a bit green in the ring. She's working her way up. She's actually on Rampage tonight in a match, though. But it's a Halloween match, so it works. So I don't know if they would let him go like super spooky like I think he wants to. Whereas in Impact, maybe if they can pony up the money, maybe he could get a Bray Wyatt. But I think if he wants to go with more of a Fiend style character, Impact is the place for that because you have so many characters, both like Su Yung, Havoc, all these Black Taurus, like all these different weird sort of characters that are kind of fringe, spooky elements to them. So I don't know. It definitely does come down to a money thing though. But I mean, Bray was in that WWE system for a very long time. He's probably, if he's smart with his money, he's probably good. He might just want to do something to have some creative freedom.
That Firefly Funhouse revamp type of thing, he probably really wants that still.
And the AEW, I feel like they're doing the WCW thing. Like, dude, you're not Diesel, you're fucking Kevin Nash, bro.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot more. Well, I mean, WCW used to be the worst at that when they had the Dungeon of Doom and shit like that. It was just total cornball stuff, which is great to watch nowadays. But yeah, WCW went with a more realistic style of product, and I think that's what AEW is sort of. I mean, obviously, you could see the elements of WCW in AEW. There's no question about it, but they're also like more modern. You know, they're with the times. They understand things. You know, you get inside jokes about, you know, pop culture references. It's not like, you know, with a WWE suffering succotash. Like, okay, no, nobody says that. Like, you're crazy, but. I don't know. It'll be just like video games is going to be in 2022. I think wrestling is going to be very interesting in 2022 because a lot of contracts are coming up. And
Ring of Honor is releasing all their talent.
Yep. And
that's
on the flip
crazy.
Side,
in 2022, they're not going to have any talent for the first quarter.
On the flip side, some of those AEW contracts are also going to be coming up. Maybe some of the people, for whatever reason, it does seem like a very
ones. Yeah, I see the small ones being dropped. Yeah.
Maybe someone wants to, you know, spread their wings and fly and go somewhere else and try something else.
And all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting year for the world of wrestling.
How many wrestlers do you think how many people are in their ear like text them like, dude, come over there, man. Like, you see what's going on. WWE just fucking sucks. You know, how many people are texting each other like, dude, come on over, you know what I mean? The water's great here.
The morality is really good. That's what I'm hearing. High morale in AEW.
Yeah, you've got people like Kevin Owens who is probably miserable in the WWE right now because, you know, and his contract's coming up. And it's not, the thing about AEW is, once again, they don't just look at, you know, their own little bubble. They're expansive. So some of these contracts, people can go work indies. People can go work in Mexico. They can go work in Japan. They can go work in Canada. Like, you have a lot more freedom with your contract if you want to do limited dates in AEW and do other things. Like Jon Moxley, he's the GCW champion right now. Like, and he's a focal point of your company. So if he can do it at the top of the food chain,
he's the most improved wrestler in a long time. I have to say, bro. Like, from Dean Ambrose, he's a fucking beast. You seen this dude? He's like ridiculous. Yeah. Everything about him, like, dude. That's.
So I think that would be a good option for Kevin Owens. I mean, honestly, Samoa Joe should have left too. You know, they obviously
he's in his 40s. I see what he's doing. He's going for the money. He's in his 40s.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows that he can go. You know, I think he does know, but I don't think he's questioning. You know what I mean? Longevity of what he wants to do, and it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. Look at AJ Styles. AJ Styles is 45 and still putting on incredible matches at his age.
And I think AJ will probably, you know, carry out the WWE torch. He's having fun. They didn't fuck with his, you know, Twitch and stuff like that. But, you know, for some people, like, that was a big for Adam Cole. That's one of the main reasons why he left. Because
the greatest workers, bro.
He's a very nice guy too. I met him. Granted, it was 12 years ago or something like that, but he was still a big star in TNA at that time, but he was very nice.
You're in the wrong business, bro. You're in the wrong business. Writing shows, dude. I'm surprised you don't got a podcast or some shit, dude. Like, you're way too good at this and passionate about it. I'm so surprised.
I should, but I don't know. It would kind of feel like work, you know.
Have fun. Do it bi-weekly.
Yeah, I can do something.
Yeah, that'd be better. Do bi-weekly, because that's what Blaze does. He does it bi-weekly. I do mine, you know, weekly, but it helps. Definitely something. Well,
that was great, bro. God, I like real, dude. I don't have to fucking put a filter. I like just.
Yeah,
I feel like I went to high school with this guy, bro. Like it's.
Y'all both got the same
older,
setup.
I don't know what it is, man.
Both got y'all same little setups. I see y'all.
Right.
Everything. I'm over here with a dull setup. Shout out to Lobo.
It works though.
Shout out to Lobo with the $2 super chat. He says, "Where's that PS4 saw cut and blaze?" Ain't gonna happen.
Man, Lobo, shut up.
Got 2 super chats, 2 $5 super chats from Cloaked Onyx. I appreciate you, my guy. First one, he says, "We can appreciate Death Stranding and know it's a good game and not be a fan. I'm not a fan of Borderlands, but I know it's a good game." Good point. And his second comment was, "I like that Steam is being the bridge to enjoy console-exclusive games, but would it actually hurt Xbox to port Halo Master Chief Collection to PS4 and 5? The funny thing is, Microsoft wanted to do something like that, but Sony turned them down. They
would do it in a heartbeat.
They would do it in a heartbeat. But it's like, again, it's like that his and hers thing is like, nah, this is my side. I don't want your stuff over here. Which, again, dumb, right? It's dumb, but, I mean, it's what they want to do. It's their identity. Shout out to Viper in the chat. What's up, brother? Big shout out to everybody who came through. We almost had 200 people in the chat, so I appreciate all of you guys. I want to say a big thank you to our special guest, Mr. RGT 85, man. Yeah. It was awesome, bro. It was awesome chat. You killed it. It was awesome talking about the games. Of course, talking about another passion, which is wrestling. And
yes, this is extremely enjoyable because when I try to talk about like basketball or wrestling on the Spawncast, everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "God damn it. Come on."
Yeah,
dude,
that sucks.
This was too much fun. It was a great conversation. I'm glad you had fun. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you, man? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how willing would you be to come back on the show?
First off, a 10 for sure. Like whenever, hit me up. You can find me on RGT85 pretty much all over the internet. There's probably somebody making a hate video about me right now, so you can catch that up. Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything's RGT85. And thank you for having me on. Had a blast doing this.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. We'll definitely be hitting you back up. You know what we're going to do? We're probably going to hit you up after each pay-per-view if you want to do something like that, like a review.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. I love having wrestling conversations like this. It's great. Of course, my brother, my partner in crime, my boy Blaze 4K. I was like, "Doc, I got to get Blaze. You know, Blaze is going to love this show." So, Blaze.
Oh, bro, finally a good guest, man. Jeez.
Don't make me 4K. Don't make me tag Kate. Don't make me tag Kate.
No. I'm not talking about the higher. I'm just talking listen. Whenever you can have a podcast and act like, bro. Honestly, if I didn't look over to check comments, I would just thought we were just in Discord, bro. I swear that's the best podcast when you just forget you're even live, bro. Just talking, shooting, like, bro, regular shit, like a. You know what I like about RGT? Like, yeah, he's Nintendo. Yeah, he's got the views. He's got the subs. He's got all that, right? But if he don't, like, he does the Nintendo videos, bro, but he's not everything pro Nintendo, bro. When he thinks shit sucks, he says it sucks. You got to respect it, bro. A lot of people want to be in bed with Nintendo, and they don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I got to respect it, bro. You know what I mean? Because getting a Nintendo partnership, like getting games from Nintendo, that's the hardest shit to do in life, bro. Like, God, for you know what I mean? Like, you got to be by the books with them. So I respect that about you, bro. It was great conversation, man. I hope you do come back.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'll be back.
Yo, bro.
All right. You guys got it. There it is. Breaking. RGT85 will be returning on here. We're going to be definitely reviewing some shows. We'll definitely get them on there, obviously, for gaming if we need to, especially something big for Nintendo. Like, I don't know, Nintendo charging us another $80 for that.
Bro, did you get the N64 controller?
Oh, did he get those?
I did get the control. I didn't pay scalpers. They did a restock on Nintendo's website. Oh, you lucky. I got that controller.
Bro, too awesome. Needed to
because playing the N64 games on the Switch it's not great until they do some button mapping on it.
Oof.
Awesome.
Ouch. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for coming through. Man, it's gonna be a busy week next week, but again, I got a big surprise for you guys that Friday on the 5th. It's going to be a big show for you guys we've been working on, so I can't wait for that. But also, obviously, somebody super chat about it earlier in the show. Yes, I'll be helping out IGN next week. So if content doesn't drop, you know why. I'm literally working with IGN on a project. So I will be announcing that on Twitter. You know exactly what it is in a few days. So I appreciate y'all for coming through. Glad you guys enjoyed the show. Everybody who subscribed to the channel, much appreciated. Hit that bell icon. You won't miss the show. Thank you guys so much. And everybody who super chatted, all our channel members, our mods, we appreciate y'all. See you guys Wednesday, right, Bliss? We're doing Soundcast Wednesday, right? Or is it next week?
Yeah.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it's... actually, hold on. I don't even know what day it is, bro. We'll skip that.
You want to skip them? Okay. Well, I'd say the next. We'll skip. We'll skip that one. All right. So the coming Wednesday will be there, and he'll tag us and let us know. But yeah, make sure you guys check out Blaze 4K's channel and everything, and of course, make sure you subscribe to RGT85 here. Good dudes. I appreciate y'all in the chat. We out of here, man. Y'all have a good one and enjoy the rest of your day. Later.
Oh, Knicks.
Oh, Knicks. Fuck them.